Oh, that kind of looks blurrier than I anticipated. Hey, it's Lowery Smith of the CommanderSmiths here with searching for the spotlight. Let me work on that real quick. I don't know what's going on. Sweet. Touch. Sup, Shy? Give me a second. Looking blurry on my end. Let's see here. Try and see that. That's a lot better, isn't it? There we go. All right. Hey, gonna be building Hylda the Ice Crown, and it should be pretty sweet. She is 2 and 1 and a blue for a 3/4 human warlock. Whenever you tap an untapped creature an opponent controls, you can pay 1. When you do, choose one of these 3. Either create a 4/4 white and blue elemental, or put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control, or scry 2 and draw a card. All of them are sweet. It just depends on what's going on. Sup, Scott? All right. And then so that's what we're going to be going through. Shorter stack than normal. Normally I'm starting out 150, 200 cards. I'm down around 85 right now. So it's basically just the last cuts at this point that you're going to be able to see. We'll go through the entire deck. But first off, Commander Smiths is a podcast that is streamed live on YouTube here every Monday night. Podcast version comes out on Wednesdays, and we do a bunch of stuff. So if you want to subscribe to the Commander Smiths, that would be greatly appreciated. But we do shorts, like I said, podcasts. We do some deck building, some games. If you're a patron, you can play with us. We do have a Patreon. Dollar gets you in there. $5 gets you some, some goodies monthly if you so wish or ask. And then, all right, Renshai, hear me out. Put in Draneth Magistrate and Grand Abolisher. Neither of those cards tap anything. So, and they don't draw me cards and they don't ramp me anything. So I'm not going to do that. Cyclonic Grip, your guardianship, Force of Will, Force of Negation, Silence. That's not what's going on. None of those tap anything either. I'm trying to tap things down. Tap it down. So, Hilda's a tap and down deck. If you didn't know that, Renshai, or anybody else watching. And let's see where this ends up going. Let's run through the cards. I think it's going to be kind of random. I think it's in like CMC order, kind of. But let's go through this, right? All right. And this was kind of a last second addition here, as Matt the Mana Rock, kind of suggested that it should be in there. And then after rethinking about it, because I have all of these have already been cut. So I've already thought or had a ton of cards considered. And I'm like, well, this doesn't actually tap flyers because it's 3 blue, tap all creatures without flying. So it taps some of my stuff, but I am a spirit centered deck. So a lot of flying there. So that should be able to work. Also taps itself to tap down probably one of your opponent's flyers so that you can get through. That's the deal. But Abishan has a shot. We got Junk Winder. Yeah, baby. Affinity for tokens, 5/6. So it's less for every token that you control. I've kind of adjusted some things to make sure that I have more token production in the deck other than Hylda, but because otherwise this gets kind of expensive. But whenever a token enters ETBs for you, you get to tap a non-land permanent and it has a stun counter on it essentially. This is going to be a beast because basically, this comes into play, and the first time you get to tap a card, you get to create a creature, tap down, create a creature. So it just kind of juggles back and forth until you run out of mana. Not a bad deal to have. There are a handful of cards that do that here. Like I said, this is going to be spirit themed. Deny Navigator is a spirit. It's blinking, and there's kind of blinking and kind of untapping theme for myself, and then obviously a heavy tap theme for your opponents. And so that's kind of where it's at. Might work, might not. There's enough ETB stuff in here. Titan of Litjara. ETBs, and you get to draw cards for the amount of spirits as you have, discard a card, and whenever you attack, same thing. It's a 6/6. It would be a spirit on the battlefield as well. It's going to draw a ton of cards though. Sunblast Angel comes into play, 4/5 flying, and when it ETBs, destroy all tapped creatures. Not a bad one if you're tapping everything. Cap Show Kite Fins. So this is 6 mana, 3/3 flyer, fish, flying fish. But whenever it ETBs or another creature ETBs for you, you get to tap another creature an opponent controls. So again, if this is in play and you get to tap a creature, you get to pay 1, create a 4/4, tap another creature, create a 4/4, and then you just kind of do the whole thing and create an army for as much mana as you have for as long as it's out. Elite Scale Guard. Whenever it ETBs, bolster 2, so putting 1/1 counters on a couple of creatures, and then whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on attacks, tap target creature defending player controls. And if you do that, you can just put, 1/1 counters on. If the only counters in play for you are the 2 bolster, they attack. You get to tap down 2 creatures, but if you attack with everything, you can at least pay 2 to put 2 1/1 counters on all your creatures, and then it just bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Nibelus of the Frost is a 4 mana 3/3 flying prowess, but whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you get to tap an opponent's creature with a stun counter. Pretty nice card. I've locked down tables with it, and people have not been happy. So we'll see about that. All right. Windborn Muse, Spirit, stops people from attacking you a lot. Spectral Arcanist, 3/2 flyer, and when it ETBs, you get to cast a instant or sorcery from any graveyard for the amount of spirits as you have for the CMC of it. So not a bad deal. It's like a bad Snapcaster Mage, which is in here. Brago, King Eternal, Spirit. It blinks anything and everything that you want. It's a great ramp spell for blue-white by blinking your rocks as well, or any creatures that ETB and go get you a land. It's a fantastic, going to be a fantastic card in here. Charade of Numbing Depths, new one. ETB, tap a creature whenever you with a stun counter. Yeah, and then whenever you tap one or more, draw a card. Only happens once each turn, so not a bad deal there. Core Cartographer, ETB, go get a plains, put into play tapped. Solemn Simulacrum, ETB, go put a basic land into play tapped. If it dies, draw a card. Real quick, Spell Queller, Spirit, and then you're basically like a slow counter spell or a bad counter spell because they get that spell back when it exiles a CMC of 4 or less. But it's dope. It's a spirit. It's a good protection. Drum Bellower, like I said, a little bit of blink, a little bit of untapping, but Drum Bellower is a flying 2/1 spirit, which untaps all the creatures you control during other players' untap step. So, Drogue Skull Captain gives all of your spirits hexproof and +1/+1. Elvish Mariner, another one of those juggling, but for the scrying part. But Elvish Mariner, whenever it attacks, you get to scry 1. Whenever you scry, tap up to X target non-land permanents, where X is the number of cards looked at while scrying this way. So you attack, pay 1, or scry, tap a creature, pay 1, scry 2, draw a card, tap down 2, pay 2, go as much as you have mana, right? Not a bad deal, tapping down a ton of stuff. Soul Herder, blank one of your creatures. Whenever something is exiled, put a 1/1 counter on them. So, Nibelus of the Mist, ETB, tap target creature, has flying. It's a spirit. That's kind of what we're going for here. Guardian of the Faith, ETB, phase all your creatures. Flash, Vigilance, also a spirit, works quite well. There's more spirits than I anticipated to actually work with this whole theme, so I'm happy about it. Skyclave Apparition, core spirit, when it ETBs, exile up to 1 target non-land, non-token permanent you don't control with converted mana cost 4 or less. And then when it leaves the battlefield, the exiled card owners creates an XX blue, where X is converted mana cost of that exiled creature. Now, the reason why I don't normally like things that give stuff back once it leaves, but I don't care if somebody has more creatures because I can just tap them down for more. I want people to kind of have creatures. I was thinking about go a lot more heavy with removal of certain things and giving creatures, but we'll be fine. I don't have enough removal to worry about that. So, Court Street Denizen, whenever another white creature enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature and opponent controls. Again, it is a little bit of a juggling. So, the 4/4 blue white elemental, you tap a creature, make a elemental, tap it when it ETBs, you know, back and forth as much as you have. Space Marine Scout, first strike vigilance, 2/1 when ETBs go. If you have less land, go get a land, put it into play. Nico Ona Spirit. Whenever you cast a spirit, you can return this back to your hand. Whenever it ETBs, destroy an enchantment. Not a bad deal for 3. Nebelgast Herald. Flash, flying. Whenever it or another spirit ETBs, tap target creature and opponent controls. So you can see a little bit of why I like the idea of like a spirits, kind of tapping. Ghostly Pilfer. Whenever it untaps, you can pay 2 to draw a card. You can discard a card to make it unblockable, and whenever an opponent casts a spell from anywhere other than their hand, draw a card. So, commanders, stuff like that. Also, a spirit. Selfless Spirit is a spirit. Sack it, and all your creatures gain indestructible. Not a bad deal. Niblis of the Urn, flying 1/1. Whenever it attacks, tap a creature. Walking Atlas, tap to put a land from your hand into play. It's with a little bit of that untapping thing, just looking for a wee bit of value if I'm drawing a ton of cards. Shacklegeist, can't block creatures without can only block creatures with flying, flying to 2 spirit. And then you can tap 2 untapped spirits you control, tap target creature you don't control. So again, Knight of the White Orchid, ETB, go get a planes into play. Snapcaster Mage, ETB, go and you can cast flashback and instant or sorcery from your graveyard. Bada bing, bada boom. Sure Strike Legionnaire doesn't untap during your untap step. Whenever another creature comes into play, untap it, and then you can tap it, target creature with converted mana cost 3 or less. Again, another juggler. So tap a creature, pay 1 to get a 4/4. That'll untap the Sure Strike. Do it again. Pop, 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 pop. And then do it for as many creatures as you can that are 3 or less. Esper Sentinel for that Riz draw. I don't even know if I used that right, but that's okay. Mausoleum Wanderer is a good protection. You can sacrifice it to counterspell, unless they pay 1 or whatever its power is at that point in time. But most of the time, it's probably going to be 1. So Spirit. Topplegeist, whenever it has a 1/1 flyer, ETBs, get to tap something, and then during your upkeep, if you have Delirium, you get to tap another thing. Mind Over Matter is a enchantment. You can choose and discard a card, tap or untap target artifact, creature, or land. Thusly, it's a beautiful card. You discard a card to tap something, pay that 1 to scry 2, draw another card. So it can always be replaced if you so wish, but also it untaps something like that. What was I just talking about? You know, creatures that can tap for some abilities. There's not a lot of them, I can admit, but not a bad deal. Mind Over Matter, reserve list card, get you some palliation? A chord.
Can't even read.
3 and a white blue enchantment. Whenever a creature an opponent controls becomes tapped, put a shield counter on it. Then you can remove shield counters from it to prevent 1 damage that would be dealt to you this turn. So I assume that there's going to be a lot on there. Smothering Tithe. Yep. That's one of those things where I added it in just for that token generation that I was talking about earlier for Junkwinder. So it is what it is. Breath of the Sleepless, 4-mana enchantment. You can play spirits at flash speed, and then whenever you cast a creature spell during an opponent's turn, tap up to 1 other creature. So it's a tapper, allows you to cast spirits at instant speed. Opposition, tap an untapped creature I control to tap target artifact, creature, or land. Pretty good. I love this card. Verity Circle. Whenever a creature an opponent controls becomes tapped, if it isn't being declared as an attacker, draw a card. And it has a little bit of tapping. I don't plan on doing that unless I really need to. So this is going to draw me a ton of cards. Retreat to Coral Helm landfall. You can tap or untap any creature or scry one. Scrying and tapping and untapping are all relevant in this deck. It's going to be fantastic. Let's talk about these two at the same time. Curse of Chains and Narcolepsy. They're 2-mana auras that at the beginning of each upkeep tap enchanted creature. So there are a lot of auras that kind of do the whole like tap it when it becomes attached and they don't untap. So you'll only get one trigger out of that. This might not like tap that creature right away, but once you say go at that upkeep, it'll tap that creature. So you get that effect. But also they will untap it during their untap step and then tap it again. So um it's kind of a free trigger that I'm looking for, and it's really cheap, and I like it. Spirit Bonds. Um, so whenever you cast or have a non-token creature come into play, you can pay a white to create a 1/1 flying spirit creature token. You can also sacrifice spirits for the 2 to give a non-spirit creature indestructible, which would probably be Hylda or a handful of cards that work. Betrayal is an aura that whenever a creature an opponent controls that this is attached to taps, you get to draw a card. Nice little deal. Reconnaissance is a fantastic untapper. Remove target attacking creature you control from combat and untap it. So basically, you attack with your spirits, have them deal damage, and there's a cleanup in the attack step. And thusly, you untap all your stuff, and you can either block or tap stuff down with opposition, yada, 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 that kind of stuff. So, fantastic untapper. Underrated. Go get you one. Tamio the Moon Sage. 5 mana. It taps permanent, stun counter, draw cards equal to the amount of creatures that are tapped for one player. And that'll draw you as many cards as you likely will. I don't even know what that last one is. Cryptic Command. It's kind of a do-all, but it taps all your opponent's creatures at once. It gets you to draw a card, counter a spell, or bounce a permanent. So kind of does a lot, and that's just a bad proxy. We do have proxies. Maybe we give them away. I don't know. Bluster Squall. It is 1 to tap target creature you don't control, or Overload, which is on tapping down everybody's stuff. Eerie Interlude is a little bit of that protection and yet blink that's going on. So exile any number of target creatures you control, return those cards to the battlefield under, you know. This is in here. Depose and deploy. Depose is tap a creature, draw a card, and this deploy part is create 2/1/1s and then gain life for as many creatures as you control. So mostly in here for depose. I was kind of thinking, you know, I'd much rather have like tap draw a card for cheap instead of like the little cantrip blue spells like preordain. I think preordain's still in here, but ponder stuff like that. Rally of Wings. Untap all your creatures. All of them with flying get +2/+2. Spirits have flying. How about you? Let's see here. Ensnare. You may return 2 islands you control to their owner's hand instead of paying Ensnare's mana cost. So it is technically free, and then you can tap all creatures. That includes your own. You do this at some point on like before somebody says go. You know what I mean? Or if you have like a drum bellower out and then you know you can untap it and stuff like that. So that's the hope. Opt, instant, scry 1, draw a card. Bada bing, bada boom. Niveus Wisps. Target creature becomes white until end of turn. Tap that creature and draw a card. Geist Light Snare. Costs 1 less if you have a spirit, costs 1 less if you have an enchantment, and then so hopefully you should be able to pay 1 blue, counter a spell unless it pay 3. Not a bad deal. This is one that I've debated on cutting already. We're not big fans of counter spells. It's on theme. I already have Cryptic. I want to say I have one more in here, but I'm probably just gonna cut it. Just cause. Let's do that. Righteous Fury. Just sorcery, tap all or destroy all tap creatures. For each creature destroyed this way, you gain 2 life. That could be a lot of life. Yeah, baby. Borrowing 100,000 arrows, sorcery, draw a card for each tap creature target opponent controls. Same thing with Theft of Dreams. That's hopefully is a lot of cards drawn. Hidden Strings is 2 mana sorcery. You may tap or untap target permanent, then you may tap or untap another target permanent, and then it has Cipher, which basically becomes like an aura. It becomes like attached to the creature, and if they deal damage, you can have it do it again. I assume that if I have flying, I'm going to be able to get through somewhere, somehow. Um, and that's kind of doing a lot for very little. Preordain, scry 2, draw a card. Not bad. Um, Sort of Feast and Famine is there to untap lands because you are going to be pretty mana heavy with Hilda and paying that ability kind of. So even though it doesn't seem heavy, you got to pay it a lot to get value out of it. So Feast and Famine is going to allow me to untap my lands. Discard is a bonus, but it is what it is. Sword of Hearth and Home blinks one of your creatures, which is kind of nice, as we already said, and goes and gets a basic land, puts it in play. Not a bad deal. Herald's Horn. Don't know how I feel about this yet. I'm going to cut this right now too. This is one of those that's reveal a top card. If it's a spirit in this kind of deck, it goes in your hand, and then spirit spells would cost one less. This I have enough spirits, but it's still not like a full on spirit deck, and so let's get rid of that for now. Sword of the Animist, equipment, equip 2 +1/+1 for the creature, and then whenever it attacks, go and get a basic land, put it into play, tapped. Um, yeah, yeah, I might cut this too. I don't necessarily. We'll keep it. It's a dang good card. Maskwood Nexus is going to turn everything into spirits, but really it's just all creatures all the time, and then it can make a token. It's doing a lot of work in here, connecting all of the spirit tribal aspects of what's going on, along with being able to create creatures at instant speed. So let's see if that makes it. Hilda's Crown of Winter, 3 mana artifact. Tap target creature. It can be 1 if it's on somebody else's turn or free on yours. And then you can pay 3, sack it, and draw a card for each tap creature your opponents control. That's all of them. So if you want to do it like you and Snare or Bluster Squall, and then next turn pay 3, sack it, you're drawing a ton of cards there. That's the big difference is all of your opponent's creatures that are tapped, not just one player like all of the other cards that are drawing off of that. So Victory Chimes, 3 mana artifact that can tap for a colorless and it untaps during each other player's untap step. I'm half assuming that I'm going to like that, just that untap ability of an artifact, just always being able to at least get a little bit of value for Hilda if something taps. I don't know. Angel's Trumpet, 3 mana artifact. Attacking does not cause creatures to tap. At the end of each player's turn, tap all untapped creatures he or she controls. So then you would get that. So it kind of forces attacks. And if they didn't attack and it taps them, it deals 1 damage for each of those creatures. So it's not worrying. The great thing is it's not worrying about if it could attack or not either. Let me see. At the end of each player's turn, tap all untapped creatures he or she controlled that did not attack this turn, and it deals 1 damage to that player for each creature tap. So if they have a bunch of tokens come into play that turn, they have to tap them all. They got to take damage for it. Sometimes there are those utility creatures that you don't want to attack with. Now, if they can tap it without attacking and, subjecting it to potential blockage removal and stuff like that, that won't deal them damage or anything. But you're talking like Llanowar elves and that type of thing. So I think it has some promise here. Swifty Boots and Lightning Greaves, Haste, Hexproof, Shroud, good stuff. Planar Atlas, 2 mana, ETBs tapped, and ETBs, look at the top 4 cards, put a land from among them into your hand, also taps for colorless. Kind of want to try this one out at some point. Sensei's Divining Top, best card in Commander, of course. Talisman of Progress, taps for a white or blue if we're a damage. Mind Stone, taps for a colorless, can be sacked to draw. Azorius Signet, Arcane Signet, Leon and Bola equipment for 1 and 1 equip, and then you can tap to unattach Leon and Bola, tap target creature. So it's another one of those, just pay 1, da 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 da. Paradise Mantle equipment, equip it for 1, creature taps for any color of mana. Springleaf Drum, 1 artifact, and then you can tap it and a creature you control to add 1 mana of any color. Wayfarer's Bauble, 1, and to come in, 2, and tap sack. Go get a basic land, put it into play tapped. Soul Ring, yup, and then Field Mist Border Post. I like these cards. I want to start trying to play them more. But what it is you can pay 1 and return a basic land you control to its owner's hand rather than pay its mana cost. ETB's tapped, gives you a white or blue. There's only, so the reason why I'm thinking this, and like I like Ensnare because it kind of returns those lands and helps out Order of the White, Knight of the White Orchid, and the Marine Scout, and that kind of stuff. It's not a bad deal. Oh, we are way ahead of our normal schedule, right? All right, remember to give a like or a thumbs up or a sub, or if you want somebody to get a different idea for Hylda, then send this over to them. Shit like that. I know I probably have to control the tapping a bit and the mana and cut back on that. We're going to aim for about 64-ish cards before we call a night. So roughly 20 cuts. I think we could do that. All right. Let's just put these in what they're doing order. Manas. We know we got that's a tap. Tap right there. Mana. Draw. Protection. It's tapping. Mana. I don't even know where that goes. Ugh. Mana. Let's see here. Draw. Let's tap, untap. Draw. Removal. Tap. Untapping. Protection. Technically removal. I think what I want to do with Cryptic Command is definitely always tap something down, but also like counterspell. That's the hope. I think it's like counterspell or bounce and tap everything down. Tameo is there for Z draw. Is that untap? I guess that's protection. Tapping stuff down. We can consider that there. Draw. Mana, protection, and tap on tap. Is that on? Let's move that over just a wee bit more, huh? Let's get all of these piles in play. Might be zoomed in a little bit more than I'm used to. That's okay. All right. Tap. That's probably protection. So there are some that are like aggressive counterspells and one that are protective counterspells. That's kind of how I look at it a little bit. Draw, tap, graveyard, mana, tap, mana, protection. That's a draw, tap, removal, mana, tap, protection, tap. Oh yeah, there's a blinking bit here. All right. We're going to put Snappy into the card advantage spot. Technically, I could probably do the scrying guy there too. Yeah, let's move that there. Protection, untapping. That's likely protection as well. Mana, draw, blink. There, protection. That's a tap down. That's a tap down. Removal, draw, blink. Tap down, tap down. Yeah, so I think mana and tapping down are pretty heavy still. Numbers, let's look at how many cards we want to have drawing. 1, 2. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 16? 16? Yeah, that's I don't think I can really cut any more from there anyway. There's some other cards that draw me, but they're kinda there for other things, and so I wanna at least be around 15 for drawing. So, we're relatively happy there. I don't have to look too hard at that, so we'll set that aside. Mana-wise, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's a little bit too much, but not awful. I like the ETBs. The creatures give me a little bit there. Smothering Tithe is there for winding, Feast and Famine, and Hearth and Home. I think we can cut Sword of the Animus like I was thinking before. Um, Putting lands into play kind of make it difficult for Knight and Marine Scout. And I don't know how many creatures. I think we'll cut Sword of the Animist. I think I have plenty of artifacts. We can cut that at this point. Victory Chimes I like untapping. I do want to play with Planar Atlas. So we're going to have a lot in this artifacts at this 2 spot. Likely we will get some sort of ramp piece at that at 2. Paradise Mantle, the Springleaf Drum. One reason I was thinking Paradise Mantle, give it to a creature, and if it's able to untap, every turn like Drum Bellower or yeah, there's not a lot that's gonna happen there though, is it? But just being able to have mana open to pay for Hilda's bit. So that's just kind of what I was thinking there. Wayfarer's Bauble. I already have a handful of cards that put I like that. So we went down 1, 1, 3, 4. Seems unlikely, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 17, 18, 19. Any suggestions would be helpful. Not quite sure where I want to go here. I maybe Victory Chimes is going over it, but I like the idea of potentially having just 1 mana open every turn to be able to go for Hilda. Um 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 19. Um, I might cut Knight of the White Orchid. Then I don't necessarily have to care. Like Space Marine Scout seems unlikely. That has first strike too, right? First strike vigilance. We can cut Knight of the White Orchid. Technically, I could probably get rid of Field Miss Border Post as well. Because that's kind of there to help that kind of thing. So boom. If it didn't I wish it said something like, if you do this, it enters the battlefield tapped. And like, because if you pay the 3, that coming into play tapped is real rough. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Not too bad, no. I ain't hating that. Let's see here. I actually should keep track of what I'm cutting. How many? All right. Removal's thin, so I don't want to get rid of too much of that. 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, it all makes sense. Destroying all tap creatures. A little bit just spirit action. Yeah. Not a lot. Just really relying on that. So the next question is how much untapping should I really be caring about? I think I I like Drum Bellower. Um I like Rally the Wings. And maybe it is Reconnaissance that gets cut. Because I'm not going to be blocking with a lot of. Well, maybe if I start making them 4/4s, I'm willing to. They don't have vigilance or anything stupid like that, do they? Yeah, just 4/4 blue and white elemental creature token. All right, not bad. That could be nice. That's a nice surprise pump. Drum bellower. Reconnaissance might be the thing to go. All right with that. Okay, let's figure that out. Doesn't have to be a lot of untapping. That's the whole thing, I think. I want Maskwood Nexus in, and then we have Hearth and Home for blinking, and then Soul Herder, Brago, and Deadeye Navigator. Um, all as spirits. I don't know if I'm going to have the mana that I want to invest into this. And at 6 mana, that can kind of get to be a lot. So I'd have Brago, Soul Herder, Hearth and Home, just kind of all of them, one of, and a potential repeatability with Deadeye, which I might not care about. Deadeye might be too expensive. Get that lower. Bam. Protection. I like Windborn Muse. I like Spell Queller. It can be a bit aggressive too. I'm right with that. Let's get that out of the way. Spell Queller. I like that. Stroke Scroll. There's a lot of protection bits in here, so it might not be bad. Think about getting. I've been thinking Spirit Bonds a little bit, but again, it's there because of the token generation it can potentially get, and I've with building Jedido Janin, the mercenary, like paying that one extra isn't as bad as I always think it is because I get the 2/2 forest walkers here. Here, I'm just getting a 1/1 flyer, but it's kind of on theme. I think that's a willing cut, I think, at this point. We need to cut back a little bit on that protection. We have some blinkage. Oh, that's another one. So we have Eerie Interlude as well for a full blink. So we have 4 pieces of blink, 2 pieces of untap. Just not a lot, but there's more blinking than what needs to be untapped, I would think. I like those 4 definitely. Selfless Spirit's always nice. I don't have much recursion, but I guess that's fine. Guardian of Faith is nice. It's kind of the Drogue Skull spell. Da, 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 da. So the only one that I'm half considering is the Mausoleum or Wanderer. I really like that. It's a 1-drop flying. Whenever another spirit comes into play, it gets +1/+1. Then sacrifice it, counter target instant or sorcery spell, unless its controller pays X, where X is the Mausoleum Wanderer's power. So getting equipment out there, it becomes a lot more formidable. So kind of like that protection bit. Let's see here. Yeah, let's not count yet. Put in a Blazing Archon. Which one is Blazing Archon? Kind of blanking on that. I don't remember. I'll look that up real quick. I'm gonna feel silly when I see it, but oh, that's the one where nobody can attack. Oh, there we go. Right? Something weird just happened. Uh, so that's the one where nobody, yeah, can't attack you. Okay, that's what I was thinking. Is that a spirit? Is that a spirit? I don't think it is. I think it's an Archon. Yeah. No, I'm sorry, man. I ain't gonna make it. Uh, Abashan was if also I'm not if creatures can't attack me, then what's the point of having tapping them down? I'd rather just have the spot like tapping all creatures down for a little bit. I think. Abashan, we already talked about that. Tap it to tap target permanent. Also with when you turn everything into everything with Maskwood Nexus, they all become cephalids, and this becomes dramatically better. But the 3 blue mana to top all creatures without flying is also quite good. So Junk Winder for tapping. Let's try and there for the tokens. Capshow Kite Fin seems more logical, but still quite good. Elite Safeguard. I might have to see how many instants and sorceries I have. Tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller next. It's not tapping, it's not blinking. Are you Tad? Are you just a big fan of Blaze Narcon? I don't think I've played with it in years. I think I probably had it in like a black white reanimation, but I can't even tell you which one that was. I might get rid of Nibelus of the Frost. I don't know how many are instants and sorceries I actually have in here. So it might be worth getting rid of. Nibelus for that bit ain't bad. 3 Court Street Denizen. Like there's a handful that I just really want in here. So Court Street, Kite Fins, I want that. Herald has to almost be in. Get rid of those. Nibelus. I like that one. Yeah, that's for sure. Mind over Matter. I like that one a lot. Breath of the Sleepless. Opposition. Curse of Chains. Narcolepsy. Bluster Squall. Maybe Depose doesn't belong here? Question mark. Like Wisps. Hidden Strings. Yeah, Hylda's. We could probably get rid of Depose. We have enough things here. Let's see here. That. Ba, ba, ba. Never meant to feel so good. All right. So I think Mind Over Matter is going to be quite good in here, especially if I end up buying a ton of cards and I can discard to kind of just do more stuff. Junkwinder has some potential. I really like how it works with Hylda, but I don't like the mana cost on it if I'm not running, But I've seen Junkwinder just take over games. It's been brutal. So I do like it. So Abishon, I like all of those heavy hitters there. And Snare. Elite Scale Guard is potentially meh. Like at 5. I mean, depends on how many creatures I have going on. I think that's cuttable at that 5 spot. If it was a little cheaper, like a 4, might be better. Or it would be better, but they'd have to change stuff. So I like those at this point. Angel's Trumpet is questionable. I don't know how much it's actually going to like hurt me because she's always going to get me. And then, but it's nice because it's just another one of those like tap everything type things. So we have like Abishon and Snare, Bluster Squall, Cryptic Command, Angel's Trumpet. Then enough stuff that kind of just goes in on itself is nice. I don't hate any of this, but I've only gotten rid of 2 cards that are tapping. 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Starting to be a little bit more respectable. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 22. All right. If we were at 87, 1, 76, we should be at 76. So we're going to have to cut like another 10 here. Oh, man, this might be fast. Wow. So thanks, Scott. Yeah, I think it should be fun. So hopefully, um, is Leon and Bola just like a lot of work? Or is that I like it. I think it's perfect for the deck. Hmm. But they're just that reoccurring mana investment. And that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid so that I can get more triggers with Hilda. So what's the mana investment on things? Hilda's potentially you know, attack, tap stuff, tap it, just upkeep triggers, and a turn trigger, tap it, spirit, white creature itself. Right then and there is like 4 mana roughly, but then I like hidden strings. All right. I think we're cutting Leon and Bola as well. Ugh. Let's see here. So we should be at 75 cards. 1, 2, 20. 20. 20. 14. So we're saying 74. All right. 74. So really, we're just looking for 10 more cuts at this point. Let's see where the instance and the types line up at this point. That way. All right. I'm sure there's plenty of creatures. Let's see here. Not a lot. Sorceries. Also was looking for like instant speed interaction for tapping stuff down for the most part. Sorcery speed is not really something I was looking for. It's doing a little bit different of a theme or thing, I guess. Better to say. And it's not bad. Cards like Sleep, definitely playable. Very good in this deck, I'd say. Even though it only targets one player. But keeping them tapped down for forever is pretty good. 2 turns is forever in Commander. I'm pretty sure that is the case. Artifacts beyond your wildest dreams. Plenty of artifacts. All right. 1 walker, that's staying. More instances of sorceries than I was thinking, but 1, 2, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that's justified in getting rid of Nibelus of the Frost. Sorceries and instants. Like to be able to. All right, with that. Enchantments. A little thin. I don't hate that though. 1, 2, 3, 10. This generally doesn't let me cut much doing this one. It's just good to see. Normally I'm creatures and artifacts and enchantment heavy and pretty light on instants and sorceries. And so that is what it is. I'll have to take a look at CMC next and just see the layout of how many 1s, 2s, and 3s we have. Verity Circle is going to be so good. Excited for that. Feast and Famine, Hearth and Home. I should probably look for how many ETB creatures there actually are. Do a count through that. All of this, I probably just need to target a couple of these like mana rocks. And be like, okay, you got to go. That's probably what I need to do. I'm afraid that Angel's Trumpet is going to be problematic. The Vigilance ain't bad though either. Just being able to attack. I guess that could allow me to be like more aggressive. It's still let's cut that. Just like that feeling, but all right. More just like blank cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 17 cards that blink. Not a bad deal because I have what? This, Brago, Soul Herder, an Eerie Interlude. Just 4 blinkers. Not too bad. There should always be something blink in there. Let's see here. Feels kind of thin on the creature part too, though. It's okay. That's okay. All right. Just going through and looking. That's ETB. That's a little bit. We have 2 untappers. Not a big deal. Not sure how much that counts. Canist, Titan. Oh. Do. Let's see here. That's really hard to find something that I'm going to cut. All right, let's do CMC. See where things line up. 2, 1. 6 is in the middle. Feel like there's a lot of 6s in here, but I don't know that for sure. That's why I check. 1, 4. Yeah, 5. 3. 2s. 4. 2, 1. Technically free. Technically 4. 2 mana. 1. All right. Not too bad. All right. Junk Winder is my highest cost. 4, 5, 6. I don't. It seems like one too many, and I think that might have been why I cut Abishon. But I don't really want to cut Abishon. I think it works really well in here. I have plenty of flying to just be able to get stuff through. That is problematic. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not saying no. All right. 5 spot. Yeah, not a big deal. Tamio, sword, Palatian Accord. I like all of them there at that spot. No complaint whatsoever. That taps, that taps, that taps. All right. How do we get there? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12. I don't know if I hate any of these cards right here. Bluster Squall, taps. Position. Breath of the Sleepless. Smothering Tithe, I think is nice. What are we saying here? Makes a little bit of tokens, not a lot. Blinking, Solemn, Core, Cartographer. I don't know how much I care about these two either. They're nice. But we have I think I'd want to rather get rid of that Marine Scout. It's just so nice to have, like, yes, this is happening. I think we can cut that Marine Scout. Like, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. We'll cut the Space Marine Scout. That's just nice removal. It doesn't have to be strong because of the tap theme. We cut 1 so far, 2 maybe, 1 really. Eerie, Theft of Dreams, Retreat to Coral Helm. The other nice thing is if I load up on a full hand and I have this and like a Walking Atlas, tap, put a land into play, use this to untap it, and just empty my hand of land. That'd be sweet. I think there's a lot of opportunity to draw a bunch of cards, and I should sit down and do like a full breakdown of that. But looking at this, I like a lot of these. And so I don't have a problem with a lot of what's going on at that 3 spot. Take a look at the 2. Rally of Wings. So how much do I care about Hidden Strings? I think Hidden Strings is sweet. I'll be able to tap and untap versus like Curse of Chains and Narcolepsy. Having to deal the damage versus just locking down a creature. I think we cut Hidden Strings. Ugh, that feels bad. That feels kind of bad, but I like the idea of just being able to lock down a creature. Essentially removal, get some of my stuff going on. I'll be happy with that. 4, 5. I mean, I get. Am I okay with just cutting Arcane Signet? Probably okay with that. Ugh, that always feels weird too. All right, Selfless Spirit, 2 spot. Yeah, I like Walking Atlas quite a bit. All right, 1 spot. Doing all right now. Doing all right. Opt is Opt something that I care about? Maybe no. I'll take a look after and see how many draw cards that can draw me cards. I think a lot of this 1 spot is going to be here. Yeah. Okay. See how many total we've got so far. 1, 2, 3. 16. So technically 4 more, and we'll do like a full on count. But let's see how many cards draw me cards, like officially, because there is crossover that I wasn't counting before. And just see how much card advantage stuff that we can get. 3, 4, 5, 6. It's kind of a bad one, but 7, 6. 7. We'll count that. 8, 9, technically, but no. There. Give that 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That'd be it. All right, 21. Let's see if we can attack that a little bit. And then plus my commander can draw me cards too. So that's something that we can maybe attack a little bit here. 6 spot, 5, 4, 4. Two, 1. All right. I like Titan here. I like Tameo. I know a couple of. This isn't really, but if it didn't do both, it wouldn't be as good. But that's there for both of them. 2. Yeah. Okay. Got another one for both of them. Ghostly Pilfer. I think we cut Opt as one. That's what I've been kind of eyeing up anyway. A little too generic. Preordain. Scry 2 draw card versus Scry 1 draw card for instant versus sorcery. Don't really have anything getting rid of. Yeah, that seems all right. That seems all right for me. All right, let's go with mana production. See how many manas we have going on. That goes and gets me. This one's a bit more important. Would I get rid of 1? I got rid of 1. GD it. All right. That can technically get me mana with untapping lands. That will, and that will. That's technically a ramp card when you're resetting a lot of your artifact creatures, or not your artifact creatures, but artifact rocks. Mana. Tap target. Okay. Pop. Core cartographer. That is mana. Ba, ba, ba. We don't ever feel so good. No more mana there. All right. How many pieces of full-blown mana do we have? 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 17. See if we can cut anything there. We got down to like 20 on that draw. So there's going to be a lot in that 2 spot, I think. 3s and 4s. Guess these 2, 5 and 6. 4 and 2. I like that. I like these 2. A little bit of both. 3, 4. Would I be happy just getting rid of these guys? That's something that feels weird. Part of the ETB stuff. Maybe we can get rid of at least core cartographer. We could do that. We could do that. I do like victory chimes. I like that idea. There's enough here that can tap things on other people's turns, right? Ooh. Okay, that's 1. 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9. 10. Technically 11, 12. That might be 12. 13. So 13 bits that can go on. I think this is going to get me to play opt over preordain, just the instant speed that I can tap something down. And preordain, I cannot, even though that's tapping down 2 things. It's a little different too. Ooh, yeah, I think the instant speed might be better. We'll keep the opt. Get rid of preordain. I mean, overall, that's going to be more power to get my stuff through. But I think being able to tap down something potentially. I mean, it's so far fetched to actually have that happen, right? It's just better to have more value in that regard. Yeah. Yep. So that I think is fine. So the question ends up being, got rid of 1. Yeah, thinking about Angel's Trumpet, that wouldn't work very well with Brago because all the creatures ETBing are new, wouldn't be considered attacking or whatnot. Yeah. It's on our right cut. All right, fine with that at this point. 2, 3, 4. I don't love all 3 of these together. Don't. I think I'm going to go with cutting mantle. Because if I'm blinking, that's less likely to stick around. 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15 manas. Yeah, we'll stay there. Makes the most sense. Where are we at? 12, 19. All right, let's give this a check right now. I can potentially be done. Woo. 8, 9, 10, 11. 30. 30. 67? What? Ugh. All right. So we have roughly, not a ton more, but I'm going to look for 3-ish more cuts here. Let's take a look at that working tap stuff. I guess we'll go there. 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. All right, so 25 bits there. Let's see here. All right. 4, 4, 6. 3. Oh, twos. 4, 1, 4, 3, 3. That's a loose one. Junk winder. All right, so I know it works well with my commander. I should sit down and see how many tokens I can produce. I'll have to go through my lands as well because I know there's at least one. I should look at that a little bit more. 6 spot. I like big butts. I like those. Like I know I want Tameo in there. Biased, but all of these seem quite solid. Main purpose is just to draw cards. Hylda's Crown seems bonkers. All of these are probably pretty good. I'm not cutting anything though. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's look at how many tokens are being produced. I'm gonna quick go through my potential land base. right, we have so Moreland Hot, Rivendell. And that's all basics. A little bit of Thawing Glaciers. All right, so not a lot there. All right, token production. Just Junkwinder might be a casualty, and if that has to go, then it has to go. Tokens. Cast a creature spell. All right. Nothing there. Little scary. All right, Mask with Nexus. Reads tokens. And if there's a way to make tokens, I would add that in. All right, Smothering Tithe is there. Let's see here. No. Faith. Yeah, there just is not much production there. So 4 pieces. So if I cut Winder, I'd probably cut Tithe, but then I would probably put in Core Cartographer back in. I'm kind of feeling pretty happy about all my cuts so far. I think that sounds all right. Gotta make cuts somewhere. Okay, so we just cut 1. So we have 2 left. There are other weird things in here where I'm like, oh, I like this. Get rid of that. All right. Whenever a creature is exiled from the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on Soul Herder. At the beginning of your end step, you may exile another target creature you control and return it to the battlefield. It's just, I'm happy with that. I'm not mad about it. I guess the other question that I should be thinking about is like, are there any utility cards? I only need like 2 more cuts, likely. 67, 66. I'm guessing I need just be 64. All right, let's go back to what they're doing. What are we doing? Tap and untap, exile. That even on there? There we go. It's just a token thing going on. Mana, removal, protection, untap for rally. I like that at this point. Spectral Arcanist, we're putting that into the bit. Blinking, can't attack. Removal, mana. Mana. I would not put that in the mana category, even though you can. Boppity bop. Draw. Draw. It's just tapping. We're gonna put that in the draw section just so it doesn't feel as bad in the tap one. Makes the tapping look a little bit thinner. Because if they can do something else, that's kind of what they should be doing. That's what we should be thinking about. That's removal. I can draw cards. Tap or untap. That's the gang. All right. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 16 on the draw, with 2 of those being ETB graveyard shenanigans. That's all right. 11, 12, 13 in the ramp department? What the fuck happened? What happened there? I'm just cutting. That's not good. Let's take a look at that. Mess up somewhere? Abishon. All right. I think we're going to cut it. I still really like it in theory, but 6 mana is a lot, I think. Especially if I got to add in the mana back, the ramp back in. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Is there anything stupid in here? Pushing this? Having flash ain't bad. Cast a creature spell during an opponent's turn. Tap up to 1 target creature. Might be bad. Is it bad? I don't know. I think we're cutting it. I think we're cutting it. Yeah. Snaring, Nibelus. I don't have a lot of flash, I guess. It's not a really good excuse, though. Two, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that all seems good. The untapping seems solid. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10. It's a lot of protection. All right. Let's recount that so we're not as scared. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right. We're going backwards. Let's see here. 14 for the Signet. Space Marine. Anything else mana-wise in here? Field Mist. That ain't bad. Turn 1. I'll bet you it's pretty damn good. It's probably just better to go do a Sword of the Animus, though. Even though that blink kind of sucks. Let's try. Yeah, and then resetting it with Brago seems bad. That seems just terrible. Terrible. Let's see here. That is untapping a permanent. All right. Well, we added one and we're at 14, I believe. It's fine. All right. Probably gonna try and stop here just to give everybody a break. You're seeing the little bits that aren't truly needed to be seen. You have a little bit of blink, a little bit of untap, Maskwood Nexus, pulling it all together, a little bit of removal, much more protection, enough draw for sure, and then a little light on mana at this point. Let's give it one more count, just see where we're at, and then we can figure it out. But let's see here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 28, 29, 30. 1, 2, 30. 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we're like one short. That ain't bad. 65. Hey, you know what? We're gonna call it a night. Appreciate anybody and everybody that came out. If you built a Hilda deck, hopefully you enjoy it. Let me know how it goes in the comments. And remember, like, share. Check out the podcast Monday nights. We have some fun. Appreciate it all. Bye.